We are joining organisations in celebrating World Autism Awareness Week. We're delighted to be joined by Caroline and Maggie from Coast Autism and Karen from Scottish Autism. We are going to discuss why raising awareness is so important, particularly right now. It'd be great if we could just start by a little bit of an introduction of both your organisations.
I'm Caroline. I'm the coordinator for Coast Autism for South Lanarkshire. We're a newly formed charity, but I've been an organisation for the past 5 years. We help parents with support groups, peer support, signposting to other organisations within South Lanarkshire. We also offer weekly activities for kids with autism to help them with their social interaction and to best interact with their peers. Throughout the summer, autumn, we have activities during all the school holidays, and that includes their siblings. So it's a family affair at Coast.
Maggie, I am on the board of trustees for Coast. I came into Coast when my son Fraser was 3 years old. It became clear that he was autistic, or we thought he was autistic anyway. And at the time I had known Caroline from childhood, didn't know anything, felt really isolated. Came into Coast and it was just a network of people that just instantly got our sort of different normal, the way that we live, in a way that family didn't get. So just sort of built up experience, hands-on experience in Coast. And eventually, this is us this year. We have achieved charity status.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen Tracy and I'm one of the regional managers at Scottish Autism, providing services in South Lanarkshire. So a little bit about Scottish Autism. So we're an organisation dedicated to enabling autistic people to lead happy, healthy and fulfilling lives as valued members of their community. Within South Lanarkshire, we provide support to autistic adults in a range of services where we recognise each person has a unique set of skills and needs. This includes our residential services at Clanalba and Stake Hill. We provide transitional support at Ridge Park House in Lanark, where individuals are supported to develop skills to facilitate further independence and hopefully a move to community-style living rather than residential care. We also support people in our housing support and care at home services, where we're enabling adults to live as independently as they can within their communities.
Caroline, Maggie and Karen, it's just great to get the chance to chat with you today, and I'm so pleased that we've got the platform here to just raise a wee awareness a wee bit about autism, and indeed the great work that Coast and Scottish Autism are doing in South Lanarkshire.
From this point of view, the national pandemic has been difficult for everyone, including those that we support. So existing routines and structures had to be changed with very little planning. Family contact ceased for those who were living in 24-hour care. There was increased stress for everyone, both our supported people because things had changed, and for those staff who were supporting them because they were worried about the risk of contracting the virus, huge impact on our services. So we had to think very quickly in an ever-changing world where things were changing not only from day to day but from hour to hour, and guidance was, I was saying one thing to teams in the morning, and in the afternoon I was saying, see what I've told you this morning? Actually, that's changed now and we now need to do this. So I have to say that I have huge admiration for the autistic people we support and the way that they have adapted and changed, and for our staff teams who went through that journey with them as well. So first of all, one of the things is we had to try and help people to understand what was going on. So what was it about this virus that was creating a risk and impacting on their lives? So we had to work on our communication. So we developed social stories, provided visual communications, and adapted our support to try and ensure that the stress that was around as a result of the pandemic was minimised as much as possible.
From a parent of a primary school and a high school child, when the pandemic started, children weren't engaging with homeschool learning. You know, they're used to a teacher in front of them, encouraging them, showing them what to do, having an adult to speak to. So when it's mum being the teacher or being the encourager, no, it didn't happen. School's school, home's home, and never the two shall meet. That's how it's always been in this house, and that was replicated right throughout the families, on the support group, on the Facebook page, during the support group that we had every week with the parents via Zoom. And it was finding ways of communicating with the schools that made parents feel less guilty. You know, they were seeing all the other parents saying, oh, they've done X, Y and Z on their schools today, they've done really well. And the autistic parents are sitting going, you know, they've not done anything, they haven't engaged with it, they're going to be so far behind. And Maggie and I would be encouraging them, you know, on a weekly, daily basis sometimes, to keep them happy, keep them healthy, keep them safe. You know, they learn in their own way anyway. You know, they'll find ways of learning. And a lot of the kids started with planting flowers outside, planting bulbs, helping in the garden. You know, they were baking. So they were starting to share those things with their school. And that was the encouragement that we gave to our parents, you know. Take the pictures in a fun way and let the school know that you're doing what you can. You know, you're doing and you're learning.
It's really inspiring to hear how both of your organisations have adapted to moving services online. Karen, like you're saying, still being able to keep that communication for people who are having 24-hour support with their families, and like you're mentioning, Caroline, how the children are adapting to online learning. It's such a big change for them.
So I think as a society we have a preconceived idea of what autism is, and I think that comes from when we watch TV, etc. We have this preconceived idea in our heads, and you know, often it's far from that. It's a spectrum condition. I know personally, my son is 8 years old, he's autistic, and he embraces his autism. He sees that as a strength, and he'll say to me, my name's Fraser, I'm 8 years old and I'm an autism, which means I have a better brain. So he sees himself as having superpowers. He's autistic, so what? And I think that is brilliant to bring him up like that, rather than have an associated stigma, because for a long time there has been, you know, a stigma, and to a certain extent in society we still have pockets of that. I think it's about, you know, embracing everyone for being individuals, for their uniqueness, because, you know, general society, we're all different. Everybody's different. We all have our own minds, we all have our own unique ways, you know, and that's the same with our autistic children, adults, you know, young people. And I think it is about that positive identity for them, and embracing them for who they are. You know, acknowledging that, you know, we all have our areas of difficulty, but acknowledging that they're there, but really playing to the strengths as well. Fraser this year, he is going to be raising the Autism Pride flag on Monday, along with an autistic adult in South Lanarkshire. And it's, you know, this is the second year that South Lanarkshire have done this, and they're one of the first local authorities to actually raise the flag. So, you know, he's looking forward to this. He thinks he's a superstar because he's going to be raising this flag this year. It's amazing.
And Maggie, just great hearing about Fraser. I love what you're saying about the positive identity and viewing himself as a superhero, and that's incredible. I love that outlook on life, and it's really encouraging to hear that how much South Lanarkshire Council have bought into celebrating Autism Awareness Week as well. And I guess, you know, collectively, all of us, we need to challenge ourselves and challenge each other to do more. You know, celebrate what we're doing at the moment, but challenge each other to do more. wonder if that could maybe just take us on, just briefly maybe think about young people a little bit. And last week or the week before, the UN Conventions for the Rights of the Child Bill was passed in Scottish Parliament, and it's been incorporated into domestic law. So it's great to see for example, the right to be heard and listened to, or the right to be safe from harm, and many, many more being built into domestic laws, as we say. And I think it's right for us to be really optimistic about what that could mean in future years, and be positive about the kind of outlook going forward. But I think it'd be great for us to unpick a wee bit about what does that actually mean for children living with autism.
Certainly, from a Scottish autism point of view, anything that brings the rights of autistic people to the forefront certainly is something that we would want to support and embrace, and work with the autistic community to advocate for. And one of the things that Scottish Autism have done recently in partnership with Enable and the National Autistic Society of Scotland is to launch our Voice, Our Rights campaign, which is calling for a commissioner to make rights a reality for autistic people and people with a learning disability across Scotland. We are working alongside autistic people and people with a learning disability to campaign for this change, for someone to be around to make sure that the rights of people are respected and adhered to. So,
having the human rights and the rights of the child, it's about listening to the children. I know from my point of view, my children can tell me what is the problems within a classroom, what's the problems within out when they go to any clubs or anything. And it's how their autism affects them within these environments. And they're not acting out, they're not acting up. They're just not in the right environment. And it does have to be a legal right for the children to be heard and seen. And I suppose it's a way of educating the educators about the rights of the children. And it's a right to be in society. And get places within organisations that they can adapt to. They don't always have to be in autism-specific groups, clubs, for health, exercise, for fun. A lot of the autistic kids can adapt to mainstream, but they do need it with support. And as much as a low-functioning autistic child, their strengths are kind of ignored. But with the higher functioning autism kids, their deficits are ignored, and it's really disproportionate and unfair in a lot of them. But hopefully, with this going forward, and as a support group, as a charity, we can encourage our parents, and what works for one, we'll share that knowledge. And that's what we are finding, is we're finding a voice, and where voices are being listened to, that collectively we can do something, but individually really we can't do anything, but collectively we can.
It's great to hear about all these changes that are happening, and hopefully it's going to make a difference in the autism community, and make sure that young autistic children, young autistic adults, their voices are being heard.
The outcome that everybody is respected and loved for who they are, and we embrace and accept everyone's differences.
For me, it's certainly acceptance, and the way I got my son to look at it and understand, from autistic, neurotypical, neurodiversity, is using an Android and Apple devices. They're both the same, they're both phones, they're both technology, they operate differently, they've got different operating systems, and that's how their brains work. You've got the Androids working in the Apples and the Apples working in the Androids. They do different things, but they get to the same point in life, and that's like every autistic child, teenager, person they're capable as the next person, but that's acceptance, and that's how I put my back towards about it.
to me, it's about embracing uniqueness and seeing it as a strength. I was chatting to Ramon from Arch, and we come up with an acronym team, and it's Teach Everyone That Autism Matters. And you know, I think it does matter. Yeah.
Well, honestly, thank you so much for the opportunity to have this chat with you all today. I mean, there was so many amazing messages to take away from respecting people's differences, and we're team acronym there, the embracing uniqueness and seeing things as a strength. But the thing that's going to stick with me there, Carolyn, when you spoke about that Apple and Android analogy, that's something that's going to stick with me and really challenge my thinking. I think that's influenced me. So please, be rest assured, and hopefully that this video and this platform and Autism Awareness Week as a whole, your voices are heard. I'm certainly going to go champion your mission, or our mission, champion our mission, with regards to kind of pushing rights around about autism forward, and do that right across the third sector, and do that right across South Lanarkshire. There's lots of great work going on, but we've got to challenge each other and push things on another level again. So thank you so much for your time and all your thoughts, and being so open. Really appreciate it, and I look forward to tracking the journey of Scottish Autism and Coast as we go forward. Thank you.
Don't forget to check out what Scottish Autism are getting up to throughout the week on their website and on their social media. And don't forget to look out for the Autism Pride flag, which will be flying at South Lanarkshire's council buildings.